Hi, my name is Melinda McHenry. I'm an aesthetic professor, AKA known as aesthetic professor, and I'm here with Morgan Stuck. And she has asked me to come on and talk with you guys about career opportunities for your graduates and what different career options are available for you in our industry as you grow your career. So, what would you like to know, Morgan?
Hi. So I would love to just get maybe a medium depth summary of just your overall career, just from where you started and how what your stages are and how you've gone through them.
Okay. I wanted to be in beauty school from the age I was 10. I don't know about the rest of you, probably 5. So I think I knew from birth that the beauty industry was where I wanted to be. And then when I started beauty college, I was already a single mother, and I was just 21. And I had to go in a day where there was no delineation between licenses. There wasn't even a nail license at the time. So that's how far back I go. So 1986, I started in 84, graduated in 86. And I quickly got out of school and started doing hair and makeup. My real passion was skincare and makeup. I don't know about, you guys when you went in, but for the estheticians out there, I get wanting to only do aesthetics. But I did flourish in hair. I won't lie. I had a good career in hair. And the only thing I really cared much about hair was that your hair color was good for your complexion. Once I really realized my passion was skincare, I started working a brief period of time for a cosmetic dermatologist. And this was right when real true lasers came out, where they put the carbon on your face and they burn them off.
Oh, okay.
And I did that for about 6 months and then decided it was too medical, and then went back into the beauty side of it. And I relocated from the state of Montana to Kansas City, where my biological family's from. And so when I got back here, I started working. I just went to work as a booth renter because that's really what you did in those days. There weren't a lot of jobs that were paying salaries or commission only. So I rented space. Sorry about that. And I started doing hair. I had hair, nails, and skin all on one section of this house in Mission, Kansas. It was called The Perfect Image. And I worked, and this is glamour shot days, so now you're going to really know how old I am. I worked doing makeup and hair at Glamour Shots part-time to build the clientele.
Oh, okay.
And then I started working for Adrienne Arpel, who was a skincare company that had facial rooms on department store floors. And I got promoted there to become a trainer and an accounts coordinator. And then from there, when that company closed, I went to work again in the plastic surgery arena and did that for about a year, and then remembered why I didn't like it. I learned a lot. I was really glad I went back because I got my certifications back up in lasers and all these other things. But I realized really quickly that the doctor's offices weren't for me. It was really wound them, get their money, and get them out. And it felt like that to me. Now, that was in the 90s. Yeah, so it's not as luxurious as it is now. I think they've realized the value of what estheticians do, and so they're not as quick to throw them to the curb if they don't elect to do an elective procedure. But before, the only choice you had was really heavy chemical peels, or they went in for the blepharoplasty or the body works or whatever it was, and they had to pay a lot of money. And, that changed throughout the 2000s too. So I ended up going back into business for myself, and then I started doing sales for Glymed. I got the privilege of getting to get a lot of education through Christine Heathman when I was a distributor for her.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I started doing classes, and then I had a skincare facility, and I had a business partner, and she did a lot of that, managed the salon side, and I did sales. And then I was part of, we distributed Biojouvence, we distributed France Laure, Equipro, eventually we were the image distributors in the Midwest for 12 years. And then I was, during that time, I opened up a beauty college. And so in 2002, and all during this time, I had gotten my instructor's license in 1989, and I had taught part-time right out of beauty college. And I realized really quickly that I didn't have anything to offer the experience going directly from a graduate in my industry with no work experience just was kind of a disservice to my students. And I couldn't answer a lot of their questions because I had no work experience to give them. So I maintained the license to teach because it helped with the manufacturers. So having that instructor license got me a lot of teaching jobs with manufacturers. And that's a really great place to go to if you love to share information and you're graduating school. One of my graduates, she went directly to work for Dermalogica, and she's still with them to this day. And then now I'm just an independent educator, and I write education programs for different companies. I produce educational training videos. I have an online training system. And then I have a little training center in Overland Park, Kansas. So I have the Academy of Advanced Aesthetic Arts, and we offer classes there, and we do hands-on certification. And it's a center that's open not just to aesthetics, but to other branches of beauty to come in and have classes. So we've had haircutting classes, and we've had, different types of technology classes that have been in there. So it's a nice facility. And I kind of started out, I like to write, speak, and share and educate. That's kind of my passion. I just happen to be passionate about that, about the industry that we're in the beauty industry. So I started out by just submitting articles to different magazines. I've written a lot of articles for no pay. I've written plenty of articles for pay. I've done speaking at different trade shows. Like I'm at the Face and the Body coming up in August, and I'm speaking on spray tanning business. I'm the MC and a speaker at the Beauty Business Summit coming up in Florida. That's beautybusinesssummit.org, Florida. And then I'm also doing 3 classes at the Salon Southern Spa conference for CEUs. That's in November. So I do a lot of education and training and speaking at trade shows. And, for people who are interested in doing that, you just have to come up with good topics. You have to pay attention to the trade show sites and watch when they ask for you to submit for speakers if you want to be a speaker. If you're looking to branch out into author, you just have to submit examples of writing to whoever it is you're interested in writing for, and always have a really good resume, have a really good bio, a synopsis bio. A good professional headshot is really important. And you have to be willing to do a lot of it sometimes for no money at all.
I think from our Facebook group, most of our instructors are teaching from Milady. Mm-hmm. So I'd love to get some insight on how you just got involved. Did you just know someone who knew someone, or you hustled your way in?
It's funny. They contacted me clear back in the 1990s to ask me to write on lasers and the medical side of it. And I didn't feel like I had enough to contribute. And I think, and then one of my colleagues through Lyra was contributing to an aesthetics chapter, and she dropped my name to them, and they came back and said, well, we realized we had approached you before. And so they needed, the first chapter I've contributed for has been to their nail technology book, the new one that's coming out, and that's all on the skin and nail health. And I'm so glad that they did, because they're really a great company to work for, and they're really open.
It's really admirable that you said, maybe I shouldn't be writing about lasers at this moment.
I really felt like they needed it from a nurse's perspective, which they ended up getting Pamela Hill to write it.
Does your writing transition as new trends are happening? Do you find yourself having to go back and rewrite things as new things are just changing? I'm sure this is like a tough industry to just stay put, because there's always new things coming out.
There is, but what's interesting about our industry is that the fundamental brick and mortar of what we do is so sound and so solid that there's going to be things that are trends. And I will tell you, I'm really bad at predicting some trends sometimes. Like, for example, when lashes came out, I immediately jumped on learning lashes, and I learned lashes in 2000, and they weren't popular then. Look at them now.
Okay.
They were mind-numbingly tedious, and I hated it. I, pick up a lash, part the lash, put the lash on, count to 3, go to the next. I was like, oh my God, somebody shoot me. And I see these young gals doing it, and they just make them look amazing. And that's all they do all day long is lashes. If you'd have told me you
Making
could
some money.
make them bank. But
yeah, sure.
I made really great money doing nails in the 1980s when nails were really popular. Well, now nails are coming back finally. But look at all the new technology. Oh, and I did nail chemistry too. I forgot about that. Look at all the new technology, what with the dips and the gels. And I mean, there's just so many cool new things. So the big trend is to go to YouTube.
Be a YouTube student.
And I have a hard time throwing stones at that. I'm on YouTube. I have my own flipping channel. And I have a series of training DVDs that I did with Aesthetic Video Source back in 2009. I have 9 videos on the market, and I guess she gets like 65, 70,000 views on some of my videos. Of course, I got paid one time to do that, and that was it. And yay, I got to do them. But the thing about YouTube is there's a lot of great information, but there's a lot of bad information. And I think for our students, it's really important to help them navigate what are good sources and what aren't. Because YouTube can't certify you guys. YouTube can't certify your students. And why the certification is important is because that is a testament to the public that someone has been there to observe your learning and your success and can attest to your level of expertise because of their level of expertise. And as you know, students who jump on YouTube, watch a video on something, and then start practicing on someone else, they're going to more than likely hurt somebody, or they're just going to never really perfect the skill. They're going to be doing something incorrectly the whole time. And then when it comes to having to learn it the right way, then they're confused. So
yeah, it's a lot easier to teach them from scratch than have to fix a bad habit.
It is. And so I think YouTube is a wonderful way to keep your students engaged with good materials. But I think as teachers, it's our job to really get out there and do some R&D and really start looking at what are good channels for your students to subscribe to. So, you know, one of the ones I can say for sure is ASCP. If you're not a member of the Association of Skincare Professionals, and I don't work for them, you guys, I get no money to say that, but they've got amazing education that's available. And I think their students only pay $15 to be an annual membership with them.
Yeah, you can have a student account and then of course the professional account. And I think the professional account is like $260 a year. That's not very expensive.
No, I have it, and I think it's well worth it to have it.
Yeah.
The magazine's
a lot
amazing.
of resources.
Mm-hmm. Good resources. I think, you know, being able to go to the trade journals are good resources as well to keep your students kind of motivated.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so many opportunities for a graduate today that there wasn't when I got out of school because there wasn't all this new technology.
Yeah.
That's the most challenging thing, I think, for educators is to keep up your skills. Because sometimes when you get in that classroom and all you're doing is always teaching basics, it's hard to remember that there's other parts of our industry that are growing way past you because you are teaching school.
You're teaching state board. Yeah,
you're teaching state board, you're teaching the basics. And so if you're not in a position to still be behind the chair that helps if you get to be behind the chair, even if it's just for one day a week. It's still keeping your hands in the business. It's really helpful for what you can bring to the table.
So talk to us a little bit more about the careers chapter that you've been working on.
So, excuse me, the one chapter that I just finished up that's going in for final review is the student success strategies. And I do address a lot more 21st century type avenues that we could be looking at as instructors and teachers. So for example, I think one of the most important things that it's the most difficult to do is to continually maintain the student enthusiasm for the learning. So they come into the classroom, and that first quarter, the first third of those hours, they're still fired up about learning. And then we all know what happens when we get into the hump of it all. And and sometimes on that downward slide, then they're really ready to like throw in the towel. So it's the hardest thing to keep your students as impassioned about what they're coming into this career for as they were their first day as they is the last day. So I think it really gets down to making sure that you've helped them set out a successful path, and that's littered with SMART goals, check-in points for their journey through school, vision boards, visualization, and then also working on creating a really great digital profile for themselves for when they get ready to go into the market. It's the time to go in and really teach them how to create friends lists, teach them how to put people in restricted groups, teach them how to post responsibly their successes, teach them who to follow. Sometimes who you follow can be a real reflection of your own character. And, creating a professional portfolio from the time you get enrolled in school. If they don't have a professional Facebook page, a professional Instagram page that's separate from their personal life, this is the time to help them do that.
Especially because we're all at home.
Well, exactly. You're all at home. And the other thing too is, why not your own website? My website is still the best business card that I have. So when I want to talk to people about coming to Bronzed and Beautiful, I just tell them to go bronzedandbeautiful.com. Go find out all about us. So having a professional website for yourself as you're trying to grow, show your makeups, show your before and afters on your skincare. Get testimonials from clients you had in school to go to your.
I'm not sure if ASCP gives you your own website option for a student account. I don't know.
I'll ask Tracy Donnelly that, or actually Jesse Cormier, if you're out there.
That would be a great tool to use if they let you do that for a student account, is to go ahead and start making your website.
Yeah, exactly. And then, so I think that's ways to keep them motivated, just to have those vision boards, because when they start to get discouraged, let's go look at our vision board. Maybe it's, maybe we need to revamp what we're doing. I used to ask the girls when they were in school, how many of you want to go into medical aesthetics? Half the hands would go up. How many of you want to do, be a booth runner? Maybe 2 of the hands would go up. How many of you want to work for somebody? And, you'd find all these niches of where they wanted to go with their career. They all knew from day one what they wanted to do. But some of them halfway through realized they wanted to do something entirely different. And so, well, let's go get our vision board. Let's go get our goal sheets. Let's go get our workbooks, and let's revamp our goals. Putting things in writing, putting your pen to paper makes it forever indelible in your brain. And it's almost like creating an agreement between yourself and your future self. And so it allows your future self to hold your past self accountable for what you promised you.
Yeah.
And I think when you put it to them that way, they realize quickly they're their own champion, and they can do this and not let anybody get in their way.
At my old school, when I was a student, at the beginning of this semester, we wrote a letter to ourselves. And ironically, I didn't find that letter. Well, so at graduation, your teacher would give us our letter back. But I never opened mine back up and read it. And probably like a year went by. And I had found it, and I opened it up, and I was like, holy crap, I'm so happy that I have this to look back on and to remember, even if my goals have shifted or have not shifted. It was really nice to think, wow, this was me on my first day of school.
Well, that's super cool. And what did you have to say to you? That's the question.
I was still just, crazy. No. I just remember thinking, I think it said something about, I really want to get my feet wet and get out into the industry and take on appointments. And I think at that point I wasn't sure where I wanted to live at. So I do remember there being something in there of if I wanted to go back to Kentucky and live with my family or not. So there was that in there too. But here I am in Arizona.
Yeah, that's okay though. I think it would be fun. I wish I would have done this, but I think if every year, on your 20th, 30th, 40th, 50th birthday, you write a letter to your future self and read it in 10 years and see where you are, you might have a good laugh out of that. Maybe that's a project we can start for the students. But anyhow, well, listen, everybody, I see the chat is on. So if anybody has any questions that they want to ask, why don't you guys jump in now? Because we're coming up on about 49 minutes. So we've got about 10 minutes left before we, and we might have a little bit more than that because I'll edit this down somewhat before we put it in the replay. But if anybody has any questions they want to ask us,
if you have questions about writing in articles, maybe that is an assignment that you have for your students to write articles, and we'll talk about submitting them to different companies.
Another great way to do it is to do a school newsletter and pick 5 topics and hand them out to your students and say, okay, we're going to do a school newsletter and we'll send it out to our database through MailChimp, or we'll print them up. It's a good way to start collecting email addresses on your clientele if you're a school that doesn't do that yet. MailChimp, you can have up to 2,500 names for free before they start charging you. So you could create a school update, or you could put it on your school website on the blog, have from our Students Corner. That is a super fun way to get your students to engage, maybe reviewing a favorite product, a favorite service, a favorite.
Well, and I also think that's a really cool learning process, because you're reading it in class, you're doing it hands-on, and for you to be able to write it into your own words and it still be true, and then have your facts to back it up, that would be a really great thing for your students to be practicing on, is their writing skills and retaining the information and putting it into their own words. This says, maybe give us some advice you have for new estheticians on building their clientele after graduation.
There are the 3 R's for successes when they get out into the field. And this is the most important thing I can tell you, is the first thing that they need to do is they need to try to rebook the first client that they get right out of the gate. That rebook is everything. They need to retail them something so that they'll come back, and that the service that they gave them will continue to reap benefit when they're not there. The challenge with retailing for most estheticians is that they don't like the way it makes them feel to ask somebody to buy something, but the mindset needs to be that I'm educating my client what to do on the 28 days out of the month that she's not seeing me, or the 29 days. She sees you once a month, every 6 weeks. What's she doing in between to make sure that she gets the benefit of what you gave her? So that's secondly. And then the third most important R for success is always going to be the referral. So if you've been introduced to a client and given them a hands-on treatment, your first goal is to get them back. So the best way to handle that is to use your esthetician language by saying, okay, Nancy, today we gave you this service, and I'd like to see you back in 6 weeks on this day to see the progress of what you're doing. These were the things that I recommended that you use to maintain what we've done today. Would you like to go ahead and book? And if they have booked or haven't booked, the next thing you should do is say, well, if you liked my work, please give me a shout out. Here's my card. Here's my professional page. I would appreciate any feedback or that you would like to post on your experience with me, whether it's Yelp, Google, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Give them and then also give them some kind of an incentive to grow clientele. Now, if you're independent, my referral works this way. If you give me 3 people, I give you a free service. And I don't care what the service is. If they came in for 3 brow waxes, I'll give you whatever you want. And so tracking referrals is really important, but to get those referrals, you have to ask for those referrals. And the best way to do it is to build loyalty with one person that comes into you. Because everybody has a mother, sister, and a bestie.
Thing to go ahead and start your before and after photos in school.
Exactly. Build the portfolio. Build the portfolio. Start now.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions? Oh, most of us are student on here. Okay. We just asked. I hope that was good. Oh, what are some good publications? Oh gosh, Skin Inc., Skin Deep, Les Nouvelles Esthétiques, Dermoscope, Cosmetics and Toiletries. I like to go to a lot of different blogs too. There's a lot of good manufacturer blogs out there. Definitely ASCP. I'd start with that through Skin Deep magazine. Everybody, I just want to thank you for your time and for Morgan to reaching out to me to do this. Now, my website's actually being revamped right now. I had it up and running and it kind of crashed, so I had to take it to a new designer to go up into the cloud. So if you get a chance, anybody who goes there and signs up for the newsletter or goes to my Facebook page at aestheticprofessor.com, I do have a book I'm going to give away. There it is. That I did this Esthetician's Guide to Outstanding Aesthetics. This is volume 1. This was a project that was spearheaded by Shelley Hancock. I don't know if any of you know who she is. She's pretty awesome. And she just got a group of us together to talk about our journey and our education and our career, what we've been through and growing our career. And then there's another one out that's a volume 2 that you can find on Amazon, and that's a lot more technical detail on being an esthetician and doing services and treatments. So that's more how to do things chapters from different industry leaders that are out there creating systems for us. And then I've got a channel on YouTube, just YouTube Aesthetic Professor. And so I'm happy to give away a book. I'm happy to make myself available. If students need to get a hold of me, they can find me at my Facebook page, at Aesthetic Professor. You can message me there, and any instructors as well can find me there. And I just want to thank you very much, Morgan. I'll get this edited down so there's not so much of me blathering. And it'll be a little bit shorter, and so you guys can
I really appreciate you sharing your story. I think it's really important for students to know that you can go in a lot of different avenues, and you're going to hear a lot of no's, but you'll also hear yeses, and you can tell people no, and you can tell people yes, and just the flow of how things can work.
Oh yeah, and you know, I get asked all the time to do stuff, and I have to really stop and check myself because I always want to. I always say, "Oh, I'd love to do that" in my head, and then I think that's just too much to take on right now. So it's okay to say no, and it's okay to stick with what you want to stick with, and
yeah, especially if you're wanting to go out of school specializing in something, don't let a client push you.
No, you're the boss of them. You're the esthetician. Yeah. You're the one with the expertise. They are merely magazine and you know, they're internet educated, and you are actually educated, and you are actually will be licensed. So yeah, you need to say, well, that's a great idea. I'm sure you'd love to do that. But if they're not a good candidate for it, you have to educate them why a procedure isn't right for them, or a peel isn't right for them, or this product isn't for them, or, you know, whatever it is. You be the boss of them, and you do it in a kind way that lets them know that you're looking out for their best interest. And that's one of the most important things you can do while you're in school and when you get out of school. You are the skincare expert. Even if you're the skincare expert in training, you still know more than they do. Yeah, you know what? The most important thing for all of the students out there, when you leave here, remember, there's really no such thing as competition. Everybody has skin, and everybody has hair, and everybody has nails. And the people that are going to come to you because of who you are for them. And the people who are going to go to the girl in the very space right next to you, if it was that competitive, you wouldn't see hairstylists sitting side by side in a spa and a salon. So everyone needs us, and everyone will need you when you graduate, and the market's not oversaturated, and there's always room for growth, and you will be successful if you want to be successful. Just have the mindset that you're going to be successful.
Yeah, and especially in school, like stay focused. Don't worry about the chit chat that's going on. Always be open to everything your instructors are saying, and just be open to learning everything. Stay focused. Stay in touch with each other.
And reach out to some of us. If you get discouraged, reach out to one of us. There's lots of great Facebook groups. There's like the one that you're in with you, Morgan, and you guys, there's lots of people to reach out to to stay motivated. And if nothing else, shut off your phones, shut off your TVs, go for a walk, breathe some fresh air.
Yeah.
And
Esthetician Connection is another really good Facebook group.
It is. Sherry Flash does an amazing one on that one.
I don't know if they let students on there. They might.
I don't know. I'll reach out to her and ask.
Yeah, they might. Well, okay, let's just go ahead and cut it off. We're at that time.
All right. Everybody have a great day, and thank you so much.